Disney has released the first teaser trailer for their upcoming animated feature Raya and the Last Dragon, and it looks pretty damn cool. These are my initial thoughts and reactions. The trailer starts off like pretty much every other Disney film with a castle and the Disney logo. But this first shot actually gives us a pretty good first look at the world of Kumandra, which is the world in which the story of the film takes place. According to the official Walt Disney Animation Studios website, the people of Kumandra used to live in harmony with the dragons until one day the sinister monsters known as the Droon attacked and the dragons sacrificed themselves in order to save humanity. Now I say that this first image shows us a castle because that's usually what we see with the Disney logo. But I actually think it's more likely to be some sort of temple. Having a castle on the top of a mountain that seems pretty hard to scale is rather impractical if you're a king who wants to do anything other than just lounge around at home. I feel like it would be more likely to have something like a religious temple on the top of a mountain where you have to climb all the way up there and live cut off from the rest of the world in order to prove your faith or something like that. It could also have been built there in order to hide something, which leads me to think that the temple on top of the mountain might be the same temple that we see Raya attempt to enter later on in the trailer. Whatever this castle or temple is, I can pretty much guarantee you that it probably has something to do with the dragons. Next up, we get our first look at our heroine Raya as she gears up to go on her quest. I think she looks super cool and badass. I just want to really quickly talk about one bit of her outfit, which is this ring that she has in her hair, which I mostly noticed because they actually make a pretty big deal out of highlighting it in the trailer. It has this little smiley face on it, which, according to my best guesses, is probably the sign of Raya's family's clan. According to Wikipedia, Kumandra is split into 5 different regions inhabited by 5 human clans. Raya is the daughter of the big chief, and as we see later on in the trailer, all of these different clans have their own symbol and their own color. So my bet is that this smiley face is either the symbol of Raya's clan or the symbol of the chief. Next we see Raya leap from rooftop to rooftop like a gosh darn ninja on her way to the hidden temple. This scene really reminds me of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is honestly a great vibe to give off. The booby traps, however, do seem to be a bit more PG. It appears supposed to be nets which would catch her, of course, but not like impale or seriously injure someone. This scene is also the first time we're introduced to Raya's animal sidekick, Tuk Tuk, who is adorable and 100% here to sell toys. Tuk Tuk appears to be some sort of furry woodlouse or something like that, and he apparently grows to be an absolute unit. So big in fact that Raya can actually ride on him, which we see later on in the trailer. That's actually a kind of fun little Easter egg, because a Tuk Tuk or an auto rickshaw is actually a very popular form of transportation in Southeast Asia, which this film draws a lot of inspiration from. But how Raya manages to ride a rolling ball, that's the big question. Alright, Raya gets into the main chamber, and on her way up the stairs we see some water flowing upwards, which kind of reminded me of that scene with the Holy Grail from Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I don't know if I'm the only one who remembers that. However, I am pretty sure that this backwards flowing water has something to do with Sisu, the last dragon, but we'll come back to her later. Inside the main room we see the dragon gem, which I think is probably what's gonna give the last dragon its powers in some way. But of course, guarding the dragon gem is an evil looking man with a spooky mask. Later on in the trailer we hear Raya say that she's trained her whole life in order to become a guardian of the dragon gem, so I don't think she's actually there to steal it. We know that the Droon, the evil force that made the dragons sacrifice themselves to save humanity, are some sort of monsters, so I don't think this guy who's guarding the dragon gem is actually evil. I think this whole break-in that she's doing is actually some sort of test, and the guy who's guarding the gem might be her father or possibly her brother. This scene probably takes place at the beginning of the film, before Raya goes on her quest to help the last dragon. As Raya and the Guardian fight, we get a bit of narration from Raya, and we also get to see a very different landscape from what we saw in the beginning of the trailer. Raya is riding along on Tuk Tuk through a desert which kind of reminds me of the desert on Tatooine, in which they do the pod racing in The Phantom Menace. And I mean, I know it's never really good to be compared to the Star Wars prequels, but the pod racing was kind of the best thing in that movie, so Anyways, I think the landscape looks awesome. As Raya makes her way through the desert, we see a wrecked carriage and a bunch of statues, or more likely a group of people that have been petrified. Whether they've been petrified by the dragons or the Droon, we don't know. Lastly, we get a shot of a scroll with a drawing of a dragon and the gem on it. I don't really know how to interpret this scroll, but these black and purple flames might be some sort of evil force that the dragon is banishing with the gem. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. The trailer then ends with a hero shot of Raya, whom to me looks somewhat older than she did in the beginning of the trailer, and of course the title reveal. And as we get the release date, which is March 2021 by the way, we get our first and only look at the real last dragon in this trailer. You can just see the outline of her as she swims through the water. Now, in the West we mostly associate dragons with fire or maybe air, but Sisu, the last dragon, is actually a water dragon, which is why I think she might be the reason why we see that upwards flowing water in the beginning of the trailer. I'm not exactly sure what Sisu's powers are going to be, but being able to manipulate water could very likely be one of them. Now, spoiler alert, because as I said, this is our first and only look at Sisu in this trailer. But Disney has actually released some concept art of Sisu, so we do actually know what she's probably gonna look like in the film. I think she looks super cool, very fun and likable, and she kind of has this mermaid or maybe a seahorse vibe going on, which I suppose is pretty apt for a water dragon. But yeah, that's pretty much all I noticed in this first trailer for Raya and the Last Dragon. Like I said, I get a little bit of Indiana Jones vibes, maybe sprinkling a little bit of Brave, and though I haven't really seen much of Avatar The Last Airbender, I get a bunch of parallels to that as well. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this film. But tell me, did you notice anything that I missed? If so, feel free to leave it in a comment down below. But that was pretty much all that I had for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care and so long. But like seriously, how does she ride on Tuk Tuk if he rolls like a ball? Does he function like BB-8 in some way or something? I don't know.